Hi, this is Robert with Cruzbike, and today on our A4X, we're going to be installing the rear cargo rack. Now, the rear cargo rack is a very simple install. You'll only need a few tools in order to assemble the rack itself and also install it onto the bike. The rear rack mounts to the frame at the mounts down here behind the seat, and also mounts to the upper holes on the top of the seat tube. There's 4 mount locations on the bike itself. Then we can level everything up, tighten everything down, and we're ready to carry some gear. All right, when you receive your A4X rack, which is the same as the Q rack, by the way, we have a left and right side, we have the rack top, and we have the struts. Also included is the hardware kit to install the sides of the rack to the top, and also some hardware to install the rack to the bike itself is also included. Note that the bolts that install the struts to the top itself of the rack are already pre-installed in the struts. Okay, so the rack only goes together one way. We're going to take our sides and use our M6 hardware with the washer and the nylock nuts to install the sides to the top. So for the back side, we'll use a washer and a 10mm nut driver and a 5mm Allen. Now for the front portion, you just have to flex the rack arms a little bit, possibly, to get the bolt through. And then we're going to install that also to the outside. Now on the inside here, you don't need a washer. Just put the nut right on. All right, once our rack is together, it should look exactly like this here. You have everything put together with the top struts installed and ready to go. And the sides are nice and snug, and our top struts are a little bit loose for flexibility, and now we're ready to install. All right, so we're going to take 2 of our M5 bolts and washers, and we're just going to sit here and just rest this rack right on the tire. Now the holes in the lower part of the rack are larger. That's okay, they're just sized for different applications. So we're just going to use a washer and our M5 bolts. We're going to loosely install the sides. You'll just simply flex them in a little bit. And then we will use our 4mm Allen just to get them not completely tight yet, but just enough so that we have it attached. Okay, now that we have the base loosely installed, we can get our other bolts, and we're going to simply thread those right in through the holes in the top struts on either side. Now note that the struts are long. That's okay, that's the way they're supposed to be. It just allows us a lot of flexibility, and for this rack to go on many different variations of our bikes. And once we have that loosely installed, we can level it up here, make sure everything looks good. Also note that you'll have the top bolts loose of the struts. And then with our rack nice and level here, we can start tightening down the base. And then we can also start to tighten down the top after we make sure everything's nice and level. So we're simply going to slide this up here, make sure our struts are located evenly on the sides. And once we have everything nice and level, I like to tilt my rack up a little bit, considering when you sit on the bike, it's going to have a little bit of sag. So when I'm sitting on the bike, I like it to be nice and level. And once we have our struts located nice and center, we'll tighten down the bolts on the seat tube. Then we can put everything in place nice and centered and snug down our top struts. We'll tighten down the side bolts and the top bolts at the same time. All right, and there you have it. Your A4X is now accessorized with a rear rack, ready to carry 2 panniers, a trunk bag, or anything you need for your adventures. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have any questions, please contact us at support@cruzbike.com. Thanks so much and happy riding.